questions are very clear if you watch the video. If Allah is the same with Jehovah, is the same as Jehovah, then we have questions to ask. We have really real serious questions to ask Allah or Jehovah, that why has he cancelled the Muslims against the Christians? Why did he cancel the Christians? Jehovah, why Jehovah canceled the Christians against, the one supreme God cancelling his own creation against each other? Why would he do that? What is the benefit of it? He also said that, will it profit me to harm you or to destroy you? There are questions that you will have to ask yourself when you read these books. If you are one of them who thinks that the entire book is from one God, why is he changing his approach? Why is he setting confusion among you people or among us by making us, have opinions that are diverse, are not merging but falling apart from each other? So we have to know. If you then you don't agree that it is one God but it's different gods, then that's another thing also. There's other questions to ask. Then where is the true one God? Maybe there isn't. So then why do you bother yourself about other things that you don't find your own God? Why do you bother yourself about things that have no relevance to you, no benefit to you, and focus on yours? But we'll get to all that. So it's all within this context. Because I have the right to read the Quran, interpret it as I see fit, as it has been written and translated into a language for me to be able to interpret it and understand. So that's why it's out there for it's being sold for everybody to pick it up. The Bible is also out there for you to pick it up, for everybody to pick it up and me to pick it up. And looking at the words and seeing how it's been translated, reading it to understand it. That's one thing that I have to admit that, okay, that also tells me that then God didn't come speaking to me directly because I have a language that he can speak to. He knows. Why didn't he give me that? And he's, depending on the Bible translation for them to struggle even to do the translation before it comes to me. Why would God want to do that? But anyway, you wouldn't think that way, and there are others also who would think that way, that yes, it does matter, and they have to think that way because it does matter for you to think right. When you are declaring yourself of anything or embracing it, you have to think right. That yes, this is how is it necessarily what Allah will do, or should Allah do that? You have to think along this line. So we know, as I want you to know, we stick to the same books that will help us to define what we are looking for and to be able to establish the peace that we are looking for, which is a peaceful life. And we have to unveil the facts. We have to unveil the facts, point to where the beginning is. That's the Holy Bible, the red letter Bible, and where it all began and where it's all going. We have to look at the roots, and when we found it, we know that, okay, this is what has cancelled us in the wrong way. That's the Quran. The Quran by Abdullah. The Muslims depend on the Quran a lot. So you find out, that's the Quran by Abdullah. So it's there for me to look into, and for you to sort of also have the possibility to think as Bible, for you to look at it and see that this is how life has been for us. Now, can I be accused by anybody, Muslim or Christian? No, nobody nobody has the right to do that. I have no right against anybody. Nobody has the rights against me. We only have to share ideas and come to that realization. This is not a battle. In fact, nobody can come out of Christianity or Islamic to me and genuinely claim he's part of all these books and he's a violent person, that he wants to kill, he wants to destroy, he wants to consider somebody to be infidel and judge and condemn. Meanwhile, the books clearly has that conflict there, but it also states clearly about judgment and condemnation. As I say, I make it simple for you. Allah has got his own hands and legs. That is the belief we have of Christian, Islam, Judaism and all that. A God who has got what the physical abilities that you have. So if he wants to do anything, he won't ask you to go and do the killing and the slapping and the destruction and the hanging for him. I mean, he doesn't need to put anybody to, he just, and the person will straight ahead. disappear. If God wants a life to be taken, it's going to be like that. If it's going to be so easy. If he wants a life to be tortured and put into he can do that. He doesn't need to send anybody. So the first thing of that, the thinking along this line, even disprove the Quran, the books of the Bible, and whichever ways are held. God won't do that. Something is sneaking its way through. These are spiritual influences. People always do that. They take the advantage of certain things and end up taking advantage of other people. The human race is being taken advantage of by spirits. And even in the Bible it says there will be deceiving spirits. It has always appeared several times in the historical books of the Torah and the Old Testament. It said there will be evil spirits, deceptive spirits. So also has it been stated several times. And even the Quran also talks of being watchful about false teachings and all that. So why would they talk about all these things? Why would the spirit of Allah and Jehovah talk about all these things? And still have conflicting statements? Why would they talk about these things as if they're only saying it, but they don't see it being something practical or that can be practiced or be done by their followers? Why would they say that and also turn their followers into something else by giving other advices? So we have to check these things out to find out what really is going on. What is Jehovah up to? And if Jehovah is not up to anything, it's a good thing. In fact, that's what we're all expecting. Not anybody cannot, accuse the other when it comes to these serious issues about faith. For you to be consumed by somebody continuously telling you things that have no relevance to the fact or the truth of life in any way, and you find yourself being convinced and following it through and abiding by it, and sometimes you can imagine the things you have to do, the struggle you have to go through. You have to fast, or maybe fast for whoever knows, because you want to have some spiritual and all these people who are probably saying all these things got these things in their hands through their own hard work, and they will make you have the impression as if there is some spiritual thing that will bring you this. And yes, sometimes there is. Sometimes there is. But why would you put yourself into that situation of what somebody will be teaching you how to become successful and all that? And yes, so that person himself is not a very successful person. And if that person is also very successful and he's using his success instead of being honest with you and telling you that it's coming from my hard work and all that, they keep twisting and say, "Oh, God granted me and helped me and all that, so you go and do that, and you also be okay." And you find people being got into that situation of trying to do something, to impress God or something. We read Genesis now with the unveiling of the friendly trap, which keeps us in a situation where we find ourselves entangled into the lifestyle that we never even admired in any way. So we have to unveil things, and as we keep unveiling, we go through the books, we look at certain things that will happen in the lifestyle of those who are claimed to be the generation or genealogy of the founding religion, in every way. And as all that is done, we'll be able to sort of separate the good from the bad. We'll be able to sort of drop the things that are not necessary and adjust to the things that are necessary. So as it says here in Genesis, in Genesis 34, it's even revealed here in Genesis when when Abraham, one of the founding fathers, who the promise of the Jewish people, have their promise came upon, have some declaration, some revealing,